should my content be based on current events or current things happening in the media, or focused around being evergreen? I think it's a great question because a lot of people like to do what's called like trend hacking. So if you find out a bunch of people are talking about things online, or certain situation, like let's go back a couple weeks when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, somebody might feel like, hey, if I can create some content that sort of, alludes to that or sort of plays off that, I maybe can like trend hack or get some traffic that I might normally not get. So that would be like how you could potentially play off current events, or just, if things are going on and you have a post that's relative to that. I mean, sometimes it works really well because it's in people's minds and things like that, and your post sort of plays along with that. Versus what we would potentially call evergreen content, which is content that doesn't really have anything to do with current events. Because even as I say this while I'm giving this Marketing Mondays, I'm talking about the Will Smith slap of Chris Rock. Well, again, 3 months from now, this whole video is going to seem a little bit dated because now that reference is 4 months old instead of just recently. So I think you have to create a mix with your content of evergreen content and maybe playing a little bit with current events when possible. If like last week was Earth Day. So if your product or service has some way that it can parlay into Earth Day, you may create some content in and around the Earth Day topic. But you don't want to totally rely on that. I think you need to create evergreen content, which means it's valid or it's relevant regardless of the time of the year or whatever. If somebody looks at it 6 months from now, it'll be just as relevant as it is today. That would be like evergreen content versus current event content. I think ideally your frequency and your cadence of posting should be maybe a little bit of both of those things. If you have current events you can weave in there, by all means do that. If your local sports team is doing well and you can create a post around that local sports team, great. I think people are engaged, people are interested, excited about the sports team. If you can find a way to engage, use that in your content, you might get some additional exposure there. But I don't think you can completely rely on that and just try to go from one current event to the next, to the next, to the next. You need to weave that in there with some of this, what I'm calling evergreen content as well. And I think you'll find you have a good mix of different things.